everyone, and welcome. So, if you're a parent in a multilingual family, you've probably had those late night thoughts, right? Will my child get confused? Am I going to mess them up? Are they going to fall behind? These are totally normal anxieties. But today, we're going to tackle them head on with some pretty surprising science. Okay, let's get into it.
Look at this. This question comes straight from a parent forum on Reddit. It's probably one of the most common worries out there. Maybe a doctor even told you, oh, just expect a bit of a delay, but they couldn't really say how much. It's a concern that you hear in homes all over the world. So if you've ever had that thought, I just want you to know you are absolutely not alone. For, decades, there's been this cloud of misunderstanding around bilingualism. But today, we're going to clear the air, bust some major myths, and find out what the science really has to say. All right, so to really understand where we are now, we kind of have to look at where we've been. Because the scientific view on speaking more than one language, it's gone through a massive transformation. For the longest time, the thinking was that bilingualism was actually a handicap. Can you believe that? The idea was that it literally hurt a child's brain. But then, in 1962, this total game-changing study came out, and it showed that bilingual kids actually outperformed monolingual kids on certain tests. This was a huge turning point. It shifted us from thinking of it as subtractive, like it takes something away, to what we know now. It's additive. It adds incredible skills. It doesn't take anything away. So let's just jump right in with myth number 1, the whole confusion thing. The idea that a kid's brain is gonna, short circuit if it hears both Spanish and English or Arabic and French. Well, the fact is, that's just not true. Research shows that even tiny babies can tell the difference between languages. Their brains are literally wired for this stuff. And that brings us to the big one. The most persistent, most anxiety-inducing myth of them all, the speech delay. Does raising a child with 2 languages automatically mean they'll start talking later than all their friends? Let's be super clear, straight up. This is a myth. The Royal College of Speech and Language Therapists is very direct about this. Bilingualism does not cause speech and language challenges. Full stop. Now sure, some bilingual kids might take a little longer to start chatting up a storm, but it is not a general rule, and any tiny lag you might see is almost always temporary. Okay, this slide is so important because it really breaks down why that whole delay idea is just a myth. So first, a bilingual kid's vocabulary is split between 2 languages, right? So if you only count their words in English, it might look smaller. But when you add up their total vocabulary across both languages, it's often way bigger. And here's a big one. If there's a real speech issue, it's going to show up in all their languages, not just one. And finally, when kids mix languages in the same sentence? That's called code switching. And it's not confusion. Nope. It's actually a sign of a really smart, flexible brain at work. And this just perfectly illustrates what this can look like in the real world. This parent on Reddit is talking about her son. He seemed quiet, maybe a little behind, and then bam! At 20 months old, it was like a language explosion. It's such a great reminder that development isn't always a straight line. Sometimes kids are just quietly soaking everything in before this incredible burst of words. All right, so we've busted the biggest myths. Let's get to the really fun part. We've gone from thinking bilingualism is a handicap to understanding it gives the brain some serious advantages. Let's just call them what they are, superpowers. And the key to all these superpowers is something called executive function. The easiest way to think about it is like the air traffic control tower for your brain. It's the part that manages focus, helps you switch between tasks, filters out distractions, and solves problems. It's pretty much one of the most important skills for, everything in life. So how does being bilingual beef up this air traffic controller? Well, it's like a constant mental workout. See, in a bilingual brain, both languages are always on. They're always active, even when you're only speaking one. This creates this sort of friendly competition. So the brain has to constantly pick the right word from the right language. And, this is the key part, it has to ignore or inhibit the other one. This non-stop process of choosing and ignoring is like a 24/7 gym for your brain's executive functions. And we can actually see this in action. There's a famous test called the Stroop task. Imagine you see the word red, but it's printed in blue ink, and you're told to say the color of the ink, not the word. It's hard, right? Because your brain just wants to read the word red. Well, who do you think is better at this? You guessed it, bilinguals. Their brains are already pros at ignoring one thing to focus on another. And get this brain boost isn't just for kids. The benefits of this mental workout stretch across your entire life. And they offer some incredible protection as we get older. What does this number mean? 4 years. Let that sink in for a second. That is the average delay in the onset of dementia symptoms for people who are bilingual. This is not a small thing. It is a huge, real-world health benefit. And this is all thanks to a concept called cognitive reserve. You can think of it like building up a buffer for your brain. By doing stimulating things, like getting an education, having a good social life, and speaking more than one language, you build stronger, more efficient pathways in your brain. This reserve helps your brain fight off the effects of aging and disease for longer. And here is the part that is just wow. In one study, when scientists looked at the brains of Alzheimer's patients after they passed away, they found that the bilinguals actually had more physical damage from the disease than the monolinguals. And yet, they had shown the symptoms much later in life. Their brains were just working so much more efficiently that they could compensate for the damage, keeping them sharp for years longer. It's incredible. But the benefits go way beyond just the cognitive science. For millions and millions of families, speaking a heritage language, the language of your home, your culture, your history, is just a profound gift. I mean, think about it. Maintaining a heritage language builds these powerful bridges. It strengthens that bond between kids and their parents, and especially their grandparents. It helps them build a stronger sense of who they are, which studies show can actually protect them from the harmful effects of discrimination. It connects them to their culture. And, down the line, it can even open up more job opportunities. It's just a win-win-win. And this is becoming more and more a part of the American story. Just look at this data. The number of people speaking a language other than English at home has grown almost 4 times faster than the general population. This means that understanding and supporting bilingualism is more important than it's ever been. So these two maps tell a really interesting story together. The map on the left shows you where multilingual families live right now, but the map on the right, that shows the growth. Look at all that green. It's not just happening in the places you'd expect. We're seeing huge growth all across the country. This is a nationwide story. And I just love this graphic because it sums up the whole modern positive perspective so perfectly. Babies' brains are amazing. It's telling parents, talk to your babies in the language you feel most comfortable in, because when you share your languages, you share your feelings and your stories. Be proud of your languages and share them like a gift. It's that simple. So after all of this, we can see the science is crystal clear. Bilingualism doesn't cause delays. It doesn't create confusion. What it does is build a stronger, more flexible, and more resilient brain, which means that initial fear, that question that started this whole journey, it's really the wrong question to be asking. The real question, the better question, is this: how can we best share this amazing gift with them? Because that's exactly what it is. It's a gift of connection, a gift of cognitive strength, and a gift of cultural richness that will benefit them for their entire lives. Thanks for tuning in.